Which brings us nicely to our next speaker, Mattias Groote, who is Executive Mayor of Landkreis Leer in Germany. Matthias is also a former member of the European Parliament, where he served as chair of the Committee on Environment, Public Health and Food Safety, and as coordinator of the Progressive Alliance of Socialists and Democrats. He's one of the leading local politicians in Europe with specialist knowledge on international action on climate change, and it's from this experience that Matthias will draw today. So Matthias, over to you, please.
Yes, thank you very much. I want to share my screen. I have to start. Is it possible? Yes. So, 2, 1. So, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, thank you for the invitation, and it's good to see some former colleagues, Serbion and Christine, here in the round. And here are some thoughts from Germany, especially from the Landkreis Leer, Localism Without Borders. Here's a map. You can see our district. The dark colors showing up that 40% of our district is below the sea level. And so climate change and a rising sea level is a real problem for us. So we are really, really interested in the issue how to tackle climate change, and we did a lot of investment in dikes to set up higher dikes. So climate change is for us also a question of financial resources in the end. Climate protection as a relation phenomenon, there's a global dimension. I know it from the European level, and you have to act locally. And so we have in our district initiatives between companies. We set up a digital hub, and one company from our district is EQ3. They are the market leader of home control devices, and we started a project with EQ3 4 or 5 years ago, where we installed these devices also in houses and flats of people who are social weak, and really promote them that they saved 30% of the energy consumption. So there's a benefit, but also a climate benefit, and it's a real nice project. If you are interested, I can send you also information about it. But the driver for the local initiatives is the Lower Saxony Climate Protection Act, which was set up from the Lower Saxony government. In our Northwest region, we have 150% green energy in our grids, because there is a high level of wind energy in the Northwest. And so we have 150%. That means more than we need in our grids. And so we discussed which is the first thing we have to organize. You know, Germany has a strong car industry, and in Emden, it's northwest from our district, there's also a VW plant. This so-called blue plant is there are on the roof PV modules, there are wind energy turbines, so we need to also lower the CO2 consumption in the production, and they will now start with the production of the ID4, a new model. So we discussed how we can organize e-mobility in a non-urban region, so as the Landkreis Leer, and we installed in the whole region charging stations with green energy for electric vehicles in the end. And everybody sponsored something, and the municipalities also invested a lot of money. We as district, here's a picture of our district car park, where we have 70 cars in the fleet. 70 and 17 are all electric driven, 21 are hybrid cars, and we have installed 33 wall boxes, charging stations. And so we lowered our CO2 average from 130 grams per kilometer to 70. So 50% we have a cut of the CO2 emission, which we produce as district, and also to be a good example for companies and all others in our district. But we have also plannings for cycling. The East Frisians are well known that they love their bicycle because our neighbors are the Netherlands, and so this is also tradition. And so we are planning new express bicycle ways through our district, but also bicycle ways to connect with the other districts that we have in really interesting and good grid of cycle ways in our district. This is a project SAFE. It's an Interreg project with our Dutch partners. Here we are discussing and take things from the practice, which objectives to reduce, we need, which barriers to be put down, because the borders in the EU also sometimes borders for the electric common market, and this project shows up which things we have to do. This is a project with our Dutch friends. And we have also the island of Borkum is part of our district, and the people of the island decided that they want to be climate neutral in 2030, so they can achieve 1,450 tons of CO2 each year, and they are really on a good way. Hydrogen will be a part of it, but also using the heat of the North Sea water by means of heat pumps, and so they are really able to be CO2 free. We have one big project, but also the constructions will be others in the future. This is a project of 26 million euros. We are setting up a new fire department and technical headquarters for the fire department, and this new building will completely will be built up the roof with photovoltaics, but also air water thermal heat pumps and more than 80% balance of own electricity use. Also the rainwater utilizations for the service water will be installed. And I can tell you that every new building will these standards built in. And also the Corona pandemic will be change the manner we will build new buildings, and it's a really completely shift. Yeah, some low threshold matters are floor stripes. We promoted, really you can see here on the left, also in QR code, orchard meadows and wall hedges are part of our natural unit in the district. Yeah, and I can tell you that we have also in the maritime sector, the town of Leer is the second biggest town in Germany after Hamburg, where ship owners are located. And so we have our maritime competence center. And here we really handle projects on hydrogen and in the maritime sector, and LNG, the ferry which will go to Borkum is LNG driven. It's a really interesting project, and we have also a project with the Dutch islands where we also have hydrogen ferries in plannings, which were set up by the Maritime Competence Center in Leer. So you can see there are many projects to really lower the CO2 level and consumption and energy consumption, and we can do a lot, I think. And the presentation before was also very interesting, that we can see that towns and districts are really the driver of technical trends, and to have really good examples. And I believe that also in the time after Corona, this format to be on a Zoom meeting, it's completely normal now. So towns and districts and municipalities can really connect to each other and have an exchange. And it's not necessary to wait that some legislation in the European Parliament goes through. We can do things, projects, pilot projects. And so thank you very much for the invitation and also for this interesting discussion today.